In a previous video, we saw how to blend two textures. So here we will see how to have two material blended together. So we will use for that the layered material. Okay, so very easy actually. I will do it on this object. So I will right click here and create a new material. And for this material, so I will call it first mat layered. Okay. For this material, I need to use not the HDRP lit, but I will click on HDRP and layered lit. Okay. So here, the first thing that it will ask me, this is how many layers do you want? So depending on the numbers that I will give here, it will change the list here. So here I have two, so it proposed to me to have two layers in the layer list. If I put 3 layers, we have 3. But I will stay with the minimum, which is 2. So what I will do, I will just connect here two different layers. Okay, so two different material, of course. And depending of the mask here, it will display this one or this one. So first, of course, I need to create two new material. So I will create a material red. I didn't rename it correctly. Red. And I will give, of course, a red color. And another one, create material matte blue. Okay, and this one will be blue. Okay, so now I go back to my matte layer, and I will just have to drag and drop these two material here. Something super important. Even me, sometimes I forgot. You can put here any material which is not a graph shader, which don't use a graph shader. Okay, so for example, you can connect this one, they use HDRP lit, this one and this one, but they cannot use HDRP lit graph. It will not work. If you want to do it, then in this case, you need to do a layered material with a graph editor, which is a bit more complicated. This solution is the easiest way. Okay, so here, matte layered, I will just drag and drop this one here, the red, and here the blue. Okay, it doesn't display anything, probably because I don't have a layer mask yet. So I click here and I will select this one. Okay, no, actually I know I don't display anything. I just forgot to drag and drop this one here. So here it's pretty easy to understand. Okay, you have your mask, and depending on this black and white mask, it will pick this shader or this shader. Okay, now if you want to modify your shader, you go, for example, in matte red, and let's see what's happened. I change the material, but nothing is happening here. It's happening here. You see, now I have a metallic red, but not here. Why? Because it sounds that perhaps this one, you want to modify it because it's used by other objects, but you don't want to apply it on this one automatically. So it will not do it automatically. What you need to do, you need to go back to matte layered, and here for the line matte red, you do a reset. So it will reload your material. Okay. So it's very important to remember that, or you will be lost. There is also something that you can do. For example, I would like same to have something a bit metallic on the blue. So I could modify that and after click on reset. Or what you can do, this is to change here. You have your two layers. Okay, you have the main layer here and the layer one. So I can open the layer one, which is a blue one. Okay, and change it to metal. Okay, but it doesn't modify this one. okay, it will override the parameter of this one, okay? So remember that this is really super important. Since we have this object that V-Ray created for their lesson, they has a few texture. Actually, I already gave you this file with a few texture, but I forgot a few texture. So actually, if you go in a Blackboard, I don't know if I have my Blackboard here. No, it's not here. So if you go in Blackboard, in the resource folder, there is a new zip file called all missing texture, and you will find two new texture. So what I will do here, I will use them and so do something a bit nicer, like actually the V-Ray listen. So what I will do first, I will create a gold material. I cannot use this one in my layer because it's using the graph shader. So here I will create a new material, okay, classic HGRP. I will give a color to my, here I want to do a gold. So again, I already said that in another video, gold, when you do a metal on some shader, they always say, put the diffuse to 0, okay? When you create a metal with a PBR shader like in Unity, this base color, okay, when it's a metal, this base color become not the diffuse anymore because the metal have no diffuse, but it become the color of the reflection. Okay, so here I will give very high value for metallic and smooth, probably around 7 something. So here I have my gold, but my color is not saturated enough. Okay, and I can just assign it to the object to check it's a bit too green and too saturated. Okay, something like that is probably a bit better. And I will create another material. I will call it ceramic. And for this one, I have a nice texture. So if you downloaded the new files, you have blue, all blue diff. Okay. So this one, I will assign it to my object. And what I want to do is to make it a little bit like a ceramic. So be careful, this texture is pure black, I think use a pure white color. Pure white, usually we never do that. So we always need to make it a bit darker. So if the texture is a pure white, in this case, you can go here, it will, on this color, it will be like a filter, and you make it a little bit darker. Okay, so now it looks more natural. Okay, so we have that. Now I will make it more reflective. So the smoothness, I will increase the value, okay, to make it a bit more shiny. And we have something like a clean ceramic, okay? So now I will go back to my layered matte, yeah, and I will replace these two things, these two shader material, sorry. So I will put my gold here and the ceramic here, okay, and I give it back here. So it's what I wanted, but I have another mask that we can use. This is this one, all blue gold mask, okay? And here it works, but actually this is inverted, so I need to put the gold, not this one. This one I didn't rename it. Better to rename it. Gold. Okay. So the matte gold must be probably here, and the ceramic must be here. Yes. So now we have the same ceramic that before, but where we have the mask, okay, now he use another material, which is this gold material, okay? So here I can go back to the ceramic, or I can just go here and modify, if needed, my parameter. So I will not make it metallic, okay, but I can change some value, make it a bit more white, okay, or tinted. Okay, not that it's not very nice, but you understand the principle. Okay, and after, of course, you can also readjust. Actually, I don't like this green color that I gave, so I can readjust also the gold here, okay, to make it perhaps a bit more matte. Okay, so here you understand, because I work in the layered material, sorry, the changes that I put here are not here. Okay, it's not connected. Okay, so when you know that, you can start to do very complex shader, especially because here you have the possibility to have more layers. Okay, so here we have two, but you could have more. But of course, you understand that when you use this system for one object, you are using two different materials. So the rendering time will be a bit longer. Okay, so if you want to optimize, perhaps it's not a good idea to use that. Perhaps it's better to create texture for the color, texture for the smoothness, texture for the metallic, to have in one material all this color and all this shininess. Okay. But for this assignment, we don't need, I think, to optimize, so it could be very helpful for some of you. So it could be, for example, some of you have metal. You can have a layer with a clean metal, quite reflective, and another layer will be a material with totally rusted metal. And you can put this rusted metal on some object, and perhaps one object will need both. Okay. So you use your mask to say on what area you want the rust. Okay, thank you.